Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I am going to be discussing sports card shows. So in a recent poll, I asked you guys how many shows you go to in a year or in the past year. And I'm going to share the results of that poll as well as share some of my own thoughts related to sports card shows in general. So let's get into this. So the question I asked on my poll was, how many have you attended in the past year? Of 108 votes, 4% said more than 2 per month, 9% said about 1 per month, 4% said maybe like 5, 33% said just 1 or a few, and 50% said none at all. That's interesting. So I wonder, of the people who are following along on my channel, I wonder how many of them are casual collectors, just here and there. Maybe they have some cards from a long time ago, but aren't participating on a regular basis. There's 50% of my audience who has not gone to a show at all in the past year. I actually haven't either, but it's really based on my context. I live in semi-rural China. How am I supposed to go to a card show? Eventually I will. I've mentioned in the past that I'm going to be moving back to the States in a few months. And one of the reasons I asked this question is because I'm extremely eager. I've already been looking up a schedule of different card shows happening in my general region in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm super excited to go to. I already know I'm going to go to one up in Portland pretty soon, right after I get back. I might not even be over jet lag yet, and I'll be there just because I'm really eager to go to one. I haven't been to one, being over here in China the whole time since I've been back into cards again. I haven't been able to go to any shows, so I'm extremely eager to go to a show. But that being said, the other thing, it's interesting to see this, that people haven't been going to shows too much. I think that's a little surprising just because of how many there have been. I mean, for me, being from far away, I guess I'm seeing, just like I said in my last video, sometimes with content, you get a different perspective on what the hobby is like for people when you're only seeing it through the eyes of people who are very actively involved. Because a content creator in the sports card realm, there's very few of them who aren't involved in sports cards on a regular basis. There's some who just like to talk about it. I mean, sports card shows, Ziggy No, hey Ziggy, I wonder if you're watching this. I don't picture him necessarily going to a whole lot of sports card shows, or AIH Sports. I don't necessarily picture him going to a whole lot of sports card shows, but they're still engaged in the hobby in their own ways and thinking about it in their own spaces. So there's plenty of people out there who are probably engaged with sports cards in some way or another and not necessarily going to shows. But if you look percentage-wise on YouTube channels related to sports cards, there's so many that are focused on sports card shows that I guess in my mind I just assumed there was more people going to sports card shows than this poll is saying. For me, I like the idea of sports card shows so much because I like sports card shows. I like to be surrounded by that atmosphere. It's fun to go on and find cards you want to buy on the internet, but it's impersonal. I like the interaction, the camaraderie that comes from being around other people who are also having those similar kinds of interests. So for me, a sports card show is very attractive as something to do. It's just enjoyable for me. So I definitely, once I go back to the States, I'm going to be going very regularly. I will probably end up being on this more than 2 per month kind of list eventually. I'm sure I will, actually, even though there's not that many going on in my local hometown area. I'm probably going to be going pretty regularly to shows up in Seattle, shows down in San Francisco, shows down in Burbank whenever that one happens. I completely expect to. So eventually I think this channel will probably reflect that a little bit. You'll probably start seeing more vlog kind of things from some of these visits, and I'm going to make it a regular thing. I'm pretty sure. I have some different plans for when I go back, and this all kind of connects into some of my plans. I've planted seeds about that idea of some of my plans here and there, but haven't mentioned anything specific because there's just been a lot going on kind of behind the scenes, and I don't want to go into any detail until I have a bit more to share. But once I am back in the States, I have some pretty interesting and exciting plans for what I'm going to be doing in the realm of sports cards. So I will share that with you, but not yet. I've said that. Maybe I've said that too many times. But anyway, that's it for this video. This was a really short one, but I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.